That was beautiful, girl. Beautiful.
Hi, Lisa, come on in. Please make yourself at home here as you settle in. I think there are some folks who live pretty close to you in your area of Canada in the audience tonight. Am I correct? Or some people here from Canada?
All right,
Yeah, okay, good.
Canadians.
Nice to have that. Nice to have that support here.
Sure.
Where do you get the maturity in your voice? Because you're still a rather young lady by most standards, you know.
I guess I am. I just turned 21 a couple months ago.
Isn't that something?
But as far as where my voice comes from, I'm the first singer in the family, so I really don't know where it came from.
It's the culmination of a lot of generations.
That's
and
right.
they all...
I think it came from my dad's side because they've all got real big voices. So
Sounds great.
thanks.
All right, you bet.
Now, I understand that you have been opening for George Strait.
Yes.
And
it's been
what's
really,
that been like?
Oh, it's been so exciting. We've played 3 different concerts with him last week in Wichita, Topeka, and Springfield, and it was just amazing. The crowds were absolutely wonderful. They were right into what we were doing, and we got to meet George, of course, and he was a really nice guy, and that was very exciting.
That's great. I have had the very fortunate opportunity to also work with George this year, and it's been the most wonderful touring that I've done. I've never seen such crazy fans in my life.
Right.
Well,
They
yeah,
sure
I guess the biggest transition for the both of you in this case, and working with George Strait, is going from the smaller venues to these arenas where you're playing, what, 15, upwards of 60,000 people sometime, right?
That's right. Just that same week, we were doing other venues with maybe 300 or 400 people. They were smaller places. And then all of a sudden, we're in this big coliseum with thousands of people looking at us. And what a feeling. It really doesn't get any better than that.
Oh,
That's
I know.
right.
Isn't it a charge for you
That's
guys
right.
when
Now,
you do
the
that?
small clubs and the small audiences can also be absolutely great, and
That's
there's
for
nothing
sure.
like an intimate room with a few hundred people where you feel like you get to know everybody
That's right.
personally.
That's right.
But there is a rush about being in the center stage, in the round, in a 20,000-seat, sold-out arena with the loudest country music fans I have ever heard.
Oh, I know. You know, you got to come off the stage floating, I guess, after that. Huh?
Absolutely, and what surprised me is they were actually singing along to my songs. I'm so
good.
brand new here. I've only had 2 singles out from my new album, and they were singing along and clapping, and that was really a nice surprise.
Now, one of the songs on your album was co-written by Conway Twitty, right?
Right.
Which one is?
One of Those Nights, the one I just sang.
That's what I was thinking. That's the one. When you were in the studio recording that and realizing that Conway Twitty, you know, one of the greatest of all time, had a hand in writing that song, what was going through your mind? Did you think about that?
I was very honored to be able to include the song on my album. We probably listened to about 2,000 songs. I'm sure you've gone through that too, trying to find the right 10 ones. And I think there was one day of just listening and listening, and that song just jumped out at us, and we thought, I got to have that on my album. So that's exactly what we did, and it turned out great.
What is it that strikes you about a song? Every artist has a different way of gauging whether a song is right for them. What does it for you?
Usually it's the one that just kind of jumps out at you above all the rest, and you might find yourself singing along to it maybe later in the day, just out of the blue. It's in your head and stuck there, so that's usually a good sign.
Yeah, that's usually a sign of a good hook.
That's
you know.
right.
In moving to Nashville, which you did about 2 years ago, you know, to secure your record deal and all that, and I know you did a showcase and you had a record deal within like a week. What's the biggest adjustment you've had to make in moving from Canada to Nashville?
You know what? I just moved this week, actually.
Did you really? Well, I know you spent a lot of time down here.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time, but I've been living in Vancouver up till now, and I just moved into an apartment. Today, I guess you could say, was the final move-in day.
Well, welcome to Nashville.
Thank you. And
What's the biggest adjustment for you personally then, as far as moving south?
Well, probably just being away from family, because all my family lives in Vancouver, my parents and my brother and cousins, so that's probably the biggest thing. But it's been pretty exciting. I've met a lot of real nice people.
That's wonderful. Well, have you learned to say y'all, stuff like that yet?
Well, every once in a while I do say it. It's a very catchy thing because everyone says it here.
And have you had grits?
No, I haven't.
I have to take you out to Loveless, and we have to have breakfast sometime,
Right.
and I'll initiate you into grits.
We'll make her an official Nashvilleian here all of a sudden, won't we? Okay, certain things you got to do while you're in town. Well, anyway, congratulations on the success of this particular album. As you said, the second single is already out. Every little girl's dream, and I think Lisa is realizing that in Nashville. It's good to have you here. We'll have you back later, okay?
Thank you very much.
Lisa Brokop, right here on Music City tonight.